It's a deep honor and privilege, and I'm truly and genuinely happy to have Vladimir joining us today from Tbilisi. What an amazing profile. I mean, I was literally overwhelmed as I was going through he's a very young man. And if you see his achievements over the last 15, 18 years, it is an endless list of great credentials and great achievements. So it's a real privilege for us to have him here with us as one of our voices of the future as we go forward. Vladimir, welcome. Good to see you, sir.
Hi, Tarek. It is a delight to be a guest on your podcast. Many thanks for this invitation and excited to share my actionable insights with your audience today.
Thank you, Vladimir. You know, uh, Words sometimes don't do justice to people. So let me get that from yourself. As a young man, as baby Vladimir, baby Vlad, 6, 7, 8 years of age or
Yeah.
something like that, can you remember a moment, a person, an incident that helped to start shape you a little bit, your mind and your thinking into perhaps who you have become today? Maybe a teacher,
Yeah.
maybe a parent.
Yeah. Tarek, it is a great question. Thank you. I was born in the late 80s in Georgia. So I grew up in the independent country of Georgia, So my mother tongue was Georgian. And but my parents grew up in the era of USSR, so I was a bit luckier in terms of that my mother tongue was Georgian. I was dreaming big. So my father is a renowned professor in Georgia. My mother is a doctor, and so they played a big role in my upbringing. Because I was mostly surrounded by books. I started. I loved reading encyclopedias. I mean, in when I was like 6, 7 in 1993, 1994. So I think my parents' support played a big role in my success. That I have built a world-class career because of my proper upbringing. They supported me. I was very curious guy. I was lifelong learner. I always wanted to pay my pass. I was dreaming big, and I was very diligent. I loved. I was burning the midnight oil in childhood. So I think I knew that brick by brick I would be building my career. That I would end up in the United States. So I moved to the United States when I was 18 in 2006, when I was involved in a summer exchange program. So I think I was going from strength to strength because I have had this self-esteem instilled in me by my parents. So confidence, self-confidence is truly instrumental. That played a big role in my success and advancement.
And so your parents played a really important role. What I want to drill deeper inside your engine, the engine that because you are an extremely powerful engine. Actually, you're not even an engine; you're a rocket, because you move at a different pace. Something, what is there inside you which gets you so excited? What is the energy source that you have? We all have an energy source of some kind. Where does your energy come from?
Well, I never rest on my laurels. I always look to my laurels, and I think I'm an open-minded guy, and open-mindedness is my biggest strength. So I always try to learn from other people. I never say that I'm the smartest person in the room because even who is someone who is ranked number one in the world can learn a great deal from other people. So when I meet successful people, they inspire me to reach new heights. So I think I'm never on my high horse, but I'm very down to earth. I love interacting with people. And of course, when I attended a conference in Dubai in 2014, when I understood the importance of personal brand building, I instantly hit the ground running on Twitter, and I went from 0 followers from 2014 to 2020, 57,000 followers. So I connected with many like-minded people, great colleagues, entrepreneurs. I have been followed by Grant Cardone. I have been followed by Forbes, retweeted by Economist. So I was very interactive, Tariq, with colleagues, with brands, with associations. So I have built earned trust. I have earned trust because I was very consistent. I was curious. I was showing gratitude. So this approach totally paid off, and that's why I have 40 recommendations on LinkedIn. I built my LinkedIn based on my Twitter performance from 2014 to 2020. So then I became a judge, a mentor at Techstars, a judge for the Webby Awards. But these 6 years were very instrumental in my growth. That sets the stage for my further success.
You also have a very deep education background,
Yes, yes.
which I found very interesting because you are very entrepreneurial on the one side, but on the other side, you've also done a lot of education and learning. So I heard the word curious at least 3 or 4 times in already, which to me is one of my biggest attributes that we have for the future. What is motivating you to have so many qualifications and degrees and so on? And why is it important to you?
Well, I don't, I believe that formal education contributed 80%, 20% to my success, but 80% contributed, self-education contributed around 80%. So, of course, from 2004 2013, I pursued my bachelor's degree in computer engineering, my master's in economics, PhD in supply chain logistics, also certificates in business English, like in business planning administration. So I think if you combine these degrees, I think it is a perfect fusion in terms
Yeah.
of that provided a strong foundation for my success. So I mean, I was very curious about digital innovation. I was curious how the power from Madison Avenue, Wall Street, big advertising agencies was shifting dramatically to human beings. So for the first time, human beings have a voice and reaction. And 62% of Fortune 500 brands have disappeared from the list since 2000 because they did not adapt to the reality of the marketplace. So in 2006, when I was a new kid on the block in Menezes, Virginia, like a 25 minutes drive from DC, I used to see a Blockbuster store in my neighborhood, and the smart people who made billions of dollars, they sat in the board, they discuss, internet is not going to affect our business. Our consumers are comfortable with visiting our store, touching DVDs. They invested all their money in backward-looking advertising. They went out of business. And we all know that what happened to other brands like Spotify disrupted music industry, Airbnb disrupted hospitality brands, like Uber disrupted taxi services because convenience and speed win all the time.
Yeah.
Tariq,
Yeah.
and I would say that it's all about building direct communication with consumers. As Tesla does not have an advertising department, and Tesla's market share in 2024, according to the Visual Capitalist, as of December 2024, is like a $1.4 trillion. And Toyota's market share is $231 billion. Just imagine that it is as different as night and day if you compare Toyota to Tesla, because a personal brand has become a company brand, and Elon Musk personal brand is a company brand. I think Elon has humanized his brand. So he, of course, he shares updates and he's very active. That's why he has built trust. So that's why in the last 15 years, Tesla has been very innovative, groundbreaking, and disruptor in the automotive industry. So I think Elon shows his heart, his smile, his face, his passion. That is what customers love. So Elon gives more than he takes. He improves Tesla's product in real time. I don't know that you remember anybody from Ford, General Motors, like Toyota, where their executives in real time communicate with consumers, and they answer their questions. So as I responded to everyone's tweets and questions on Twitter, and it has built my personal brand, and I'm represented by more than 20 speakers bureaus, and this communications, this active interaction are part and parcel of personal brand building in the digital age.
Yeah, indeed. So, how would you describe your career at the moment, Vladimir? How would you describe yourself today?
I would say that my career is in the fast lane. In the fast lane,
Mhm.
I think my career has reached its peak because I mean I have been ranked number one global marketing software by Think 60. I am among the world's top 21 artificial intelligence speakers in 2025, alongside Sam Altman by AI Speakers Agency. I have been also recognized among top 10 machine learning and artificial intelligence speakers by Kruger Cone in London, in the UK. I mean, I'm a mentor at Techstars, the judge for the Webby Awards, serve on the advisory board for the United States AI Institute, Data Science Institute, Cybersecurity Institute. I mean, I have been a guest on 60 podcasts, so I have built brick by brick. If you Google digital marketing keynote speaker, my website, vladimirbotsvadze.com, is number one on Google. Even if you Google top AI speakers, I'm listed by Google among the world's top 24 AI speakers. So I think I have earned trust. I have built my authority, Tariq. I have built my
And so-
authority. And I
Mhm.
think I'm very grateful to my friends on Twitter who inspired me to explore more, to dream more, to achieve more. And I also believe in giving back, and I also mentor students at the University of Westminster, at UCL Enterprise Innovation, and UCLA Anderson Venture Accelerator in California.
Understand. Let's talk AI. A lot is happening in AI at this point in time, and you mentioned Sam Altman a couple of times, and that's OpenAI. How can you call your company OpenAI when it's closed AI? Because it's not an open system; it's a closed system. And I'm going to get to DeepSeek, which is an open system, and they came in and attacked this whole concept. What is your view on the shifts that are taking place in the AI space in the current environment, with the entrance of Quen and DeepSeek and new reinforcement learning models, the power of NVIDIA perhaps receding a little bit because other new technologies are coming in like Cerebrus and so on. Bottom line is that AI is going through a massive shift. What is your view on it, and how do you see it changing?
Well, it is the most revolutionary technology. Just imagine that ChatGPT had like a 1 million users in 5 days, whereas it took like a years for technology giants to reach 1 million users. So I think, but when it comes to replacing jobs, it is where everyone is able to see the handwriting on the wall, Tariq, because nowadays, you know what Sam Altman said? That 95% of marketers are due to be replaced by generative AI.
Yes.
95% of marketers, because
Yes.
marketing job is disappearing. Marketing job is
Correct.
disappearing because nowadays everyone can blog. ChatGPT levels the playing field. It equal everyone has equal chance to succeed nowadays. It does not
Yeah.
care about what is your background, what is your education, where you come from. If you take action, you will go ahead. So in from 2014 to 2022, when I was building my Twitter and other social media channels, I did not have this generative AI tools to assist my content creation. But nowadays, it's much easier. You save time. You become more efficient. And you make better decisions because of ChatGPT. So I would say that I would compare ChatGPT adoption to like when someone bought 5,000 horses before the day Henry Ford creates the car. He lost because they bought horses in terms of this because when he Henry Ford introduced car to the world,
Mhm.
someone was buying horses in like in 1950s and 65, like four biggest brands lost market share in the United States because they did not adapt to the TV. TV transitioning to TV, so they did not adapt. So they still going to advertise on radio, and they were writing copy for the radio and disregarding television. So
Yeah.
70s and 80s, biggest advertisers were on TV, Procter and Gamble and Budweiser, because they were pushing advertising on TV channels when it was a heyday of TV. So
Yeah.
from 2000 to 2005, Amazon was the biggest advertiser on Google AdWords. Amazon became Amazon because of Google Ads. So it was under price attention. So we shopping app invested like in millions of dollars in Facebook ads 2016-17, they generated $10 billion in revenue. Nowadays, more than 75% of companies that don't integrate artificial intelligence into their daily operations, they will go out of business like Blockbuster, because ultimately market decides what is good and bad. So
Mhm.
if we look at in retrospect, from the vantage point of the present, in the last 15 years, market decided that Spotify is good, that Airbnb is good, Uber is good, because Tesla is good, because the co-founders and founders and they improved product in real time by connecting with consumers. So trust in businesses, brands, and advertising has declined 15 years in a row. More than 1 billion consumers have ad blockers on mobile devices. Nobody trusts, sees, and believes those ads, Tariq, because advertising steals our time. So
Yeah.
content creation is a game nowadays, and with artificial intelligence and generative AI tools, you can create compelling content much faster. It reduces your cost. You make better decisions. So
Sure.
ultimately, brands are in a catbird seat by capitalizing generative AI tools just to tell better stories.
And I understand. I mean, Gen AI is coming in. Gen AI will replace a lot of things, a lot of our jobs, a lot of our roles. I totally understand that. One of the statistics I use is that by 2030, 70 to 80% of the jobs that will be then do not exist today. So effectively, we are working in a role that we will not be there in 5 years' time. And exactly from what you are saying. My question is a little bit deeper. My question
Yeah.
is that we are becoming over-dependent on ChatGPT, which is fine. But also now DeepSeek is coming in and they have reduced the price by 95% in terms of training the models and so on. So there will be shifts and changes, but Gen AI will play a very important role. My critical question is, where do humans fit in? Where does humanity fit in? Where does curiosity fit in? Where does humanity, love, connection, heart, soul, spirit, intuition, creativity? Because Gen AI can be very efficient, left side of our brain, but the right side of our brain belongs to us human beings. What are you recommending for us human beings to lead the future?
Yeah, great question. Thank you, Tariq. I think the only sustainable competitive advantage is building a personal brand and building emotional connection in the world. You know that IQ is declining in value because of technology. IQ,
Correct.
so
Yeah.
EQ, emotional intelligence is becoming
Yes.
more decisive. So
Yeah.
it's all about my last 10 years journey has been all about communication and soft skills and emotional intelligence. Because
Okay.
I think hard skills are being commoditized by technology. Hard skills. So it's all about like these skills like resilience, flexibility, agility, motivation, self-awareness, curiosity, lifelong learning. Everyone should become a lifelong learner. I started
Understood.
my side hustle like I was tweeting from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. to build my personal brand. I have done my
Mm.
work to build my personal brand. I will not be replaced by generative AI because I have emotional connection with the world. So
Yes.
I think it is my big advantage is that so many people from year to year where they depended on formal degrees, whereas I was pushing self-education. I followed Warren Buffett's advice to start reading like a 400, 500 pages a day. Of course, reading is very important because it builds my knowledge, but at the same time, it is very important to be information smart, not book smart, because so much is changing. The world is
Yeah.
the world is the world is faster because of the internet. The world is faster. So but I think when I check out formal education, they are blocking generative AI. Tariq, it is very dismal and very gloomy that formal education is blocking ChatGPT and artificial intelligence tools.
Which is exactly my going to be my next question, and was that do you think modern education from today is actually fulfilling and making our young people ready for tomorrow?
I think formal education prepares students for corporate jobs, not for entrepreneurial journey, So I believe that Twitter prepared me from entrepreneurial journey, Tariq. It is a big advantage of Twitter. So I think Twitter is like a cocktail party truly for the business world where you can mix with people, you can
Yes.
connect with anyone, you can type whatever you like, cars, like whatever you like, right? You can type in search and jump into a conversation. You can build like a relation with the world's most powerful people. So I have been followed by Grant Cardone. I have connected with Brand King through Twitter. I mean, I have been followed by Fortune 500 brands. I have been followed by Forbes, and I would not have imagined like 15 years ago that today I would be represented by the speakers bureau. I would be a mentor, and I would be a candidate for the world's best awards. But I think my curiosity, my drive, my motivation, my active listening. I believe that the most open-minded people are in the listening business, because they listen to their consumers. I listen to my audience. Before I start speaking at global events, I listen to my audience. So I always improve my
Yeah.
service based on the feedback of my audience.
I understand, but I'll go back to this question because I think from your experience, it's a really important question. That is today's education system making our young people ready for tomorrow? I think they are not even making them ready for corporate life. You said that they are making them ready for corporate life. I
Yeah.
don't think even that, but that's my view. I want to get your
Yeah.
view is that, and with a follow-up on how should education change?
I think they don't even teach personal branding. And I think it is very dismal because entry level jobs are going away, Tariq. And nowadays, graduates need to possess middle level manager skills. It is how graduates need to compete in the labor market. They need to have middle
Yeah,
level manager skills, because
yeah,
entry level jobs are going away. When I moved to London in 2009, I was 22 years old. I had an entry level job. My former employer opened the door. He was patient with me. I improved my skills. I developed my skills that I utilized to build my personal brand on Twitter from 2010 to 2020. So, but nowadays, copywriting jobs are going away, blogging jobs are going away, entry level marketing jobs are going away because with ChatGPT you can reduce costs, you can make better decisions, you become more efficient.
Now let's look a little bit into the future, Vladimir. 10 years from now, you're still a very young man. 10 years from now, where do you see yourself?
Well, it is a great question. I think where I see, I see myself speaking at global events, publishing books. I mean, running my marketing agency, maybe in New York or London. And I'm very curious guy, so I always look to my laurels. So I also see myself working as an entrepreneur in residence and shaping the next generation of leaders.
Let me put you into a time machine.
Yes.
We were talking about Elon, one of Elon's time machines. And we take you into the future. And imagine that today is your 100th birthday, and you are now 100 years of age. And you look back to your life and you say, what will you see? Firstly, what do you see around you by the time you're 100 years of age? And I come to your 100th birthday to celebrate you. What will I be saying?
Well, uh, uh, I would remember probably all the best moments from my life. Kindness, people who helped me, that I helped them back. And I think it is life is a two-way street for me. So if they scratch my back, I always scratch theirs. Because so many people helped me in my life, of course. And So I became more optimistic. I started seeing the glass half full rather than half empty.
Mhm.
So it is very important to be more optimistic. And when I surround myself, right, when I surrounded myself with right people, smarter people, people who were in high places, I was truly inspired by them. So I will probably remember such moments that defined my life, that were big milestones. But I still have a long way to go. But I always do my best to be kind, to lead by example, and to be empathetic. And of course, if I reach 100 year, if I be when I'm 100, of course, it will be a pleasure if we hang out again.
Yeah, no, I think you will reach 100 because of all of the work that is being done in longevity at the moment, and you will live to 100 plus. Your kids will live to 120 to 150. So 100 is not 100 is the new 60 as we look into the future. And the reason I ask that question is because you have such a long time to go, which means you can redefine yourself, re-examine yourself, reinvent yourself again. I'm trying to find out from your thinking and from your heart is how do you redefine yourself because life will change. How do you can you visualize or do you visualize yourself to be different in some ways? You had some very beautiful words like empathy and kindness and love. Those are really amazing. But do you see yourself something different?
Well, I would love to give more than I take, because I'm a giver to the core, not a taker. That's why
Okay.
I tweet. That's why I tweet. I speak. I blog. I give away my best advice for free. So I'm not charging anybody for picking my brain when it comes to on social media, because I'm very generous person. So I think this generosity, this goodwill, truly translated to my success. That's I mean. I built my website. I built my community on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Great recommendations, and people think that success is easy, but success is much vice versa. It's very hard. But when you see the glass half full, you optimistic. You are optimistic. I believe, Tariq, that optimistic people create brighter future. Optimistic
100%.
people, and I think anyone should be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, because nothing is impossible. Even in impossible, it says I'm possible.
Yes, that is very true. Vladimir, a couple of minutes of quick advice for people, because I think as this podcast goes all over the world, people will love that. Younger people coming into business, finishing education, growing, personal branding. What are your first two or three tips since you are the leader and thinker on personal branding? What is it about, and what actions should they take?
It's all about starting small, building gradually, showing patience, connect with audiences in meaningful ways, build emotional connection, then telling your authentic story through videos, through blogs, through tweets, because I can say from my first-hand experience that storytelling has put me on a global map. Storytelling has put
Thanks.
me on the global map. And I also, anyone should give more than they take in order to win in the long term. And anyone should start thinking long term, not only short term or medium term, in the long term. So if they want to build something meaningful, they need to reinvest every penny into their growth. I have reinvested my last dollar into my website, Tariq, a few years ago, because this journey has been very demanding, challenging, and very strenuous. But nothing has been easy. Life is not a bowl of cherries. It has been very demanding, but I think resilience, flexibility, attention to detail, social influence, leadership, curiosity, and agility contributed to my success. So I built my website. I built my personal brand from my heart, not from my head. But vast majority build their personal brands from their head, and probably they don't succeed. But when you build your personal brand from your heart, you succeed 100%, I'm sure.
You use a great word, and that is authenticity, and the power of storytelling. Um, when I see a lot of people coming through, a lot of personal branding is ego-driven, narcissistic, and very personal. And like you said, they build it from their heads, not their hearts, and the stories are not authentic. What advice do you give to those people who try to just build the numbers, and every time they go past a mirror, they have to take a picture and they have to do it's almost exhausting. How do you differentiate yourself from being authentic, real, good storyteller versus efficient, fast, successful? Both of them can have the same amount of followers. How do you make them different?
It's never about chasing numbers because I have experienced so much. I have met so many people. I have reached 57,000 followers on Twitter in 2020. So I have met all walks of life, Tarek.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
walks of life. So I think anyone should be authentic. Anyone should be kind. Anyone should be generous. Anyone
yes,
should be inspired by other people's success. I think
yeah,
it is the best way. If they want to be remembered as a good person, they need
yes,
to be kind. They need to lead by example. But what I have seen is that so many people lead by titles, not by example. For example,
yeah,
Gary Vee leads by example. Tim Ferriss leads by example. I'm inspired by Tim Ferriss' success story. I mean, incredible guy, incredible guy. So I
yeah.
think even Tim Ferriss' example that he was rejected by 26 book publishers. Tarek,
I know, I know.
26.
Yeah, and these are great stories. What do you do in your downtime, if you have any? What do you do when you're relaxing?
Well, I love
What makes
playing
you happy?
tennis. I love playing tennis. I love playing football. I love basketball, So I love sports, because I also have been recognized among top 20 global thought leaders of sports technology by Think 360. So I'm always try to keep my finger on the pulse of the latest sports news.
What do you feel are the biggest challenges which worry you and upset you?
Well, it is a very interesting question. I think I always try to look at life from a brighter side, and so it allows me not to be sad, first of all, and to show more resilience because I think that resilience is very important. Resilience and to self-esteem is very important, Tariq. I think in my journey, self-esteem has been very important because I believe in myself, and when you believe in yourself, nothing is impossible. You will go. I know that next week, next month, next year, I will have new success, new achievements. I will make a global impact. So as I build my personal brand from my heart, it means that I connect with my audience from my heart, not from my head. So I want to give 150% day in and day out. I want to be remembered as a good person, as a kind person, as a hardworking person. So if my audience is they watch my podcast episodes or they attend my keynotes or whatever contribution impacts impacts my audience, when they email me like a few years later, that is my biggest achievement, that I have made a big difference in someone's life.
Indeed. We know about all of your successes, and they are amazing successes. Can you share, if you like, if you are happy, some stories of one or two stories of failure to make you more human? And more importantly, what did you learn from those failures?
Well, they say that behind every successful person, there are so many unsuccessful years. So nobody should say that my success has been a straight road. And but I have gone into the world to earn success by the dint of my heart, and nothing has been given to me. Nothing. But when I had such moments when I was not satisfied with my performance, I was moving forward. I was pushing. I was focusing on self-education. I was reading 100 pages a day. YouTube became my university, Tariq. YouTube
Yeah, yeah.
became my university.
Nice.
So I think you can become anyone who you want to become through YouTube because you are open-minded. But I meet so many people that they think that they don't push self-education. But I think self-education is very important. Anyone should become a lifelong learner, more
Yeah.
curious, you need to be more driven. And I think that you need to choose optimism. And last but not least, you need to be able to see the glass half full.
Is there anything that I may have missed that you would like to have mentioned, or would you like to make us effectively what I would call a final statement
Uh,
about?
it is easiest time is a history of mankind to be successful nowadays. What is creating nowadays business opportunities, like $1 billion business opportunity did not exist like 20 and 25 years ago. You needed like to hire a media company to reach global audiences. And now there are 8.2 billion people in the world, and more than 5.2 billion active social media users. Through content creation, you can reach millions of people, and my tweets reached 40 million people annually because I spent $0 on distributing my content. It is a big advantage. But you pay for newspaper, you pay for billboard, you pay for TV commercial. These
Mhm.
traditional marketing channels are very expensive, but social media personal brand building is free. So as I was curious, I attended a conference in Dubai, and I have greatly benefited from practical speakers, and I instantly hit the ground running on Twitter, and I
Yeah.
built my audience, and I put my eggs into different baskets. I think that everyone should not only depend on one channel but also several channels. I built my website because of my great networking. So but if I had attended even one of the best business schools in the world, they would have never taught me, Vladimir, you need to build your website, you need to like tweet 30 times per day on Twitter,
Yeah.
and you need you,
Yeah.
you need to connect on audiences, and you need to push emotional intelligence. But I think that IQ is declining in value, and EQ is becoming more decisive.
Indeed. My final question, sir, as we end after this beautiful conversation. If you were to put a message in a bottle, one line, and throw the bottle in the sea, and we find it 5 to 10 years from now, what would that one line message be for you?
I would say that knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. With those beautiful words, knowledge is power, I open the bottle, I message this, and I will see Vladimir, knowledge is power. What an amazing way to end, Vladimir. Thank you very much for your kind words, your wisdom, your passion. I can see your passion coming through the screen. I can actually literally, I can feel it. So I understand
Thank
how
you.
it's there. And I think your authentic energy, and I can, you spoke about heart versus head, and you spoke about heart a lot and an emotional connection. I can understand how you make that because you are genuinely speaking from your heart. You are, and that is what you're projecting. So I'm very grateful that you shared your beautiful energy with us. I hope, and we will package this nicely for you. And I hope this would be the beginning of many conversations. And I want to make a difference in the world and change the world in a better, positive way. I can see you do the same. So we will be aligning and we'll be like spirits in spirits together to make a beautiful future. Thank you for being
Thank
on
you.
Voices of the
Many
Future.
thanks. Thank you for this outstanding interview, and I wish you continued success, Tariq.
Thank you. We'll be in touch, sir.